I heard a story in India, I came across it, of two beautiful girls in India who had fallen in love and they wanted to be together. Their name were Christy and Rukmani, and they were so much in love. But their parents decided that they were going to have a forced marriage. Of course, their parents said it was an arranged marriage. The two girls decided that that was not going to happen, so they passed themselves through the flames together and died. I was heartbroken. I didn't know what to do. For some reason, it affected me, and I didn't know why. I'd not been living in Brighton very long. I'd come in as a student and for Ruston College. And I had a friendship with a young lady who I just thought was just a friend. And so I was going through things and I didn't understand. And although I was an older, mature student, I had a learning difficulty, so I struggled with a lot of things. And there were things going on that I didn't understand, but this really affected me for some reason. So I wrote about it. And I had started a friendship with a gentleman that you might know, a gentleman called James Edward, who was a mentor to me and a good friend. And so I gave him the story to read, and I said, James, will you read this for me, please, so I can have closure, because this is breaking my heart. He said, yes, I'll read this for you, Suchi. He read it. He says, I'm going to publish this in what was then G-Scene and a paper magazine. That is how long ago this was. It was in paper, it's now seen, and it's digital. And he said, I'm going to publish it. And without a word of a lie, I said, but James, that's a paper for gay people. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. He just looked at me, he says, Suchi, Charles Street, tomorrow tea, we need to talk. So I went there because at that time I was working for the anti-victimisation unit. I worked with victims of hate crime. I could deal with racist, homophobic snot rags better than I could deal with my own sexuality. I could face off a racist calling me every name under the sun, and I could handle that. So James sat me down. He said, darling, your closet door has just opened. I looked at him and went, closet door? And the lights went on. And I thought, oh shit. Because suddenly I had a thought. I needed to speak to Mother. So I phoned her up and I said, Mummy, how did you get that job in, I think it was 1950 something, in that cafe in the underground scene in Manchester? A friend, said Mother. What was her name, Mummy? Pamela. What sort of friend, Mummy? A good friend. Turned out my mother had a lavender life. She used to tell me about the underground scene. She'd also told me some terrible things what happened to when the police got hold of young men and women, mainly young men. Women, it turned out the police tended not to bother too much, although they did, especially the women who defended the young men. And my mother kept it quiet. She married, she had 3 kids. She didn't talk much about it, but it now made sense why she was trying to hook me up with that nice mixed-race PCSO called Cheryl. And I didn't even notice it, because I was that obtuse. And it slowly, all of it started to make sense. Slowly but surely. And I was in shock for about 10 years. And I suddenly realised, oh shit. And this was because of James. And I talked more and more to my mother, and I started to write the G-Scene. And I always called my mother she who shall be obeyed, and my dad, he who shall be ignored. And he was a good man. He did what my mother said. And they did have a good marriage. I don't think my mother could ever be who she wanted to be, but she was born in 1939. And there was a lot of women that were brave in that time, and I've read and done a lot of research. And I think my mother had a lot of regrets. I don't think she regretted having kids, although she did say it was like pushing a watermelon through a letterbox when she gave birth. But then my mother was, pretty explicit about things. I lost my mother in 2017. I lost my rock because she was the person who understood me the most. And I'm not ashamed to turn around to people to say who I am now. There are members of my family who disowned me. They disowned me for standing up against racism. They disowned me for standing up against friends that are gay, lesbian, transgender. I had somebody turn around to me, why are you friends with that person? They're transgender. I didn't even know that person was transgender. They were just my friend. And I asked them, why did you tell me that? Well, didn't you want to know? No, but I would like to know where she got her dress from. It was really nice. Nothing, you know, I don't understand why people tell shit you don't have to tell people. You know, I'm a traditionally built lady. I'm built like a brick shithouse. You know, if you ask me where did I get my nice pink top from, I'm going to tell you. But private business is private business. So I will stick up for people. I'm not a brave person. The amount of times I've been called out for sticking up for people, come home with bruises, and then I've had to explain to my ex-army carer, no, I didn't get into a fight, Steve. But I do believe that this lavender life, it's got to be out there because we've got so much hate, as New said, and especially against disabled people. And when you say, I've said to people, oh, yes, I am a person who likes ladies very much. I'm told, no, you can't like that, you've got a learning disability, you don't know what you like. And I have been told that. Ladies, I do know what I like very much. And I have said that. And I'm feeling at my age, I'm 63, I'm an old bugger. Excuse me, if I don't know what I like now, it's taken me long enough. It took James Ledward from 2008 to open my closet doors. I'm on a highway to nowhere. So this archive is really important. This Lavender Lounge is really important. We've got to stand shoulder to shoulder. We've got to put our differences aside. We've got to archive our history for the next generation. I'm doing it at the moment with the Black history because I am a person of colour. And I do that with Dr. Burt Williams. He's the Windrush generation. He said to me one day, I have to stand with people, LGBTQ. I said, why do you say that, Burt? He says, because my grandson's just come out and nobody's going to diss my grandson. The man is 84 years old. If an 84-year-old man can stand shoulder to shoulder and love his grandson, every other fucker can do the same. Oh, sorry, bad language. I get told off for that language. So please, I want you to enjoy this amazing table over there. Tell your amazing stories. The good, the beautiful. If you want to tell the bad, tell the bad. But if you don't, tell the good, the fun stories. I've just told a lovely young couple there, I don't know what their names were, two beautiful young ladies. One likes garlic, one can't eat garlic. So kissing must be really interesting. You know, about my dad taking me out when I was a little girl, and I looked like my white mother, because I had light brown hair back in the day, and my dark-skinned father being stopped by white women asking him why they were kidnapping a white child, and my poor bewildered dad going, where's your white child? Because he didn't see a white child, he saw his daughter. And I was traumatised from being 5 years old, thinking somebody was going to take me away from my dad. I used to hold on, my dad used to say, why is Suchi holding on to my trouser leg like that? I don't remember it, but my mother remembers it. And I'm going to finish with a story that my sister's just shocked me with. I had a beloved great aunt. She was called Dorothy. I adored her. She was my godmother. She died in 2002. My sister dropped a bombshell on me a month later. She was a lesbian. I didn't know. I told you I was obtuse. So I brought a book in because I found the pictures that tells her stories. And I'm now picking about her story. She was a wonderful lady, and I wish I had known, because she was alive at the time when I was just beginning. She died in 2002. I didn't really find myself to 2008, but maybe if I'd spoken to her, she might have been able to say something to me, but she never did. And I wish I'd known. My sister knew, and I feel like batting this book over my sister's head. But unfortunately, I'm frightened of my older sister, so I can't. So these are some pictures I'd like you to see if you'd like to have a look at it. She was called Dorothy. She was beautiful, like my mum, but it obviously runs in our family. So please enjoy that there. Tell your stories, archive, and let the next generation be able to tell their stories. Like Isaac's wonderful story, he's right. We should tell all the good stories. And oh, as I said, I've got a dog too. We call him Face Hugger, because he does. But tell your wonderful stories and get them into that archives, because digital archives are forever. They won't bloody get rid of any of us. Thank you.